I've got a wedge, so I'm not going to move it. Now, JH's back foot channel lock, he's been doing it for long enough, and he's now moved to Yogi lock, Count Yogi lock. Count Yogi, obviously we are playing like, or swinging the way Count Yogi wants to envisage. When we get to the top, we go 1, 2, 3, pausing at the top. Basically, it completely separates the transition out, solves a lot of major issues. I guarantee you, if you're over the top or were over the top, a la me, this is 100% way of stopping over the top. Right? You just swing normally. But when you get to the top, no rush to come down. Okay, pause. Let the club load. There's no loss of power, there's no loss of speed, there's no loss of distance. I know where you're all coming from. Like no pro ever said, pause at the top. That's why, was it Makayama? The Japanese guy, he's playing absolute rubbish now because his coach told him, oh, I don't want that pause at the top. What? Why? That's the best swinging guy on tour. And you've just taken away his best fucking weapon, his pause at the top. He'll go back to that, I guarantee you. But JH, there's nothing I can get my head round to explain this other than try and show him on a video. So we're not going to move the T-bar. And this is why I've always struggled with channel lock or the back foot golf, right? So for this purpose, I'm going to obviously have my back foot here, right? You can see that's nowhere near my front foot, and I'm going to set up to the ball, right? Now that is off my back foot, right? And there is only one way I can hit that, and that is to hold my hands. I would be really leading with the handle, and I would be, if I was using my standard swing, I would be knocking that down low into the wind. So that's how I play shots like that, off the back foot. But JH has this thing where he'll set like this, but he'll preload his shoulders, i.e. he will preload them closed and then drop the club down. Now, there's the problem there, because now that ball is off the front foot there. Okay, you'll see that. Club's going there. If I close my shoulders, it's off the front foot. Hence, you get tremendous height on the ball, even though it looks like you're playing it off the back foot. Also, obviously, as well as height, when you've done this, if I do it back, right, so my shoulders are on this closed line, and my shoulder dictates where the club's swinging. So if I swing back on this closed line and I get to the top, I've got to swing back on this closed line. See where it's going here? Club face going there. So it's going out there, okay? So even though this T-bar is aiming that way, my ball is going to go into the corner of that net there, okay? It's going to go in this direction here. It might well draw back from there, right? It might well draw back, but it ain't going on the initial flight line that we've come to know. Right, so here's the problem with me. I can hit balls like this, JH, on the range for hours. No issues. Okay, there's one issue for me, and here it is. I can't take this out in the golf course because I cannot set up and aim or play on a course because I cannot set myself up on the tee. I'm always facing the wrong direction, or I feel like I'm facing the wrong direction, because there's your standard setup and I know the ball's going there. But when I close my shoulders and I drop it, and I'm swinging on an in-to-out path like that, that ball is going out to the right. Yes, ideally JH, it may draw back to the target, but that's a may, and it doesn't always happen like that, so how can you play like that? Because you miss everything to the right. If you square the club face on a closed shoulder path to the flight path, and you swing in like that, and then out, it still goes that way. Or you hit the dreaded J. Arthur, stroke Armitage, stroke famous manufacturer of toilets, the word that every golfer never wants to make. The ball goes that way anyway. Hosel rocket, that one, a shank. Right, so that's where channel lock or the back foot or anything like that. Yeah, I can do it on the range, but try taking it to the golf course. Nah, virtually impossible for me to play with it. Hopefully JH has the answer to that. But I really don't think there is an answer, because I'm trying to explain to you, if I wanted to, instead of hit it into that net, I wanted to hit it in front of me there. So I would actually need to, I'll keep that T-square there, I would actually need to set up aiming way left, okay? I'd be aiming there. Let's get this. So I'd be aiming, let's get this in out, right? This is going to be, right, back foot, I'm aiming left, way left. I want to go there, so again I'm closing my shoulders, okay? And I drop it, right, that's fine, now I'm aiming there. Okay, I'm aiming in front of me, I'm on the flight line. But look where my feet are pointing. Man, that's like asking for trouble. You're now, if you accidentally come, you're, whoa, miles over the top. It's actually the worst setup for over the top in my life that I've ever tried, because it's setting you against your natural path. The X is just all wrong, it's at the wrong angle. You're setting up your lower transition to be completely different than your top transition. Now I know if you do this at the range, without this T-bar, you can do it and it doesn't look out of place. But where it falls down is on the golf course. And any channel locker who doesn't admit that is kidding themselves on. Because I've tried umpteen times to play that on the course. And if I'm standing looking up the fairway, I'm thinking, right, I'm aiming right, everything's right, my shoulders are right, I'm in to out, but if it doesn't draw, I'm just right side of the golf course all day. And if you draw the golf ball, maybe that suits your eye. Right? A lot of great players have drawn the ball and they all prefer to play it back in their stance, because playing the ball back in your stance helps you draw the ball. Right? Playing the ball forward in your stance helps you cut the ball. Right? Or fade it. And really, my natural shot is a fade. So if I go back to this for a second, and I do this, so I'm preloading and I've dropped it back, I know that ball's going that way. Right? And this is off my back foot. I just know it's going that way, so I've got to swing on my shoulder line, which is into out, and it just goes straight. It goes straight. Yeah. Straight, like mine's right at the actual target. Now, you could argue that once you've established that that is what's going to happen, because it does happen like that every single shot, then you say, well, JH, all JH must do is just look where he wants to go, close his shoulders to the intended target, right? So he knows knows that that's the path, and then shuffle his feet in whilst looking constantly at the target. Ta-da! He's then in position here, and he just swings into out. But JH, I can't get it consistent enough to actually play it on a golf course, because there's a two-way miss, and it's so hard to save a shot. What we were talking about in the earlier video, the hand and eye basic coordination drill, right? You've got to know if you're swinging it one-handed or just, doing that type of thing. You've got to know what's going to happen before it happens, right? So you've got to be in full control of your natural reaction speed, feel, your fine motor skills. It's not the big muscles. The fine motor skills save you. The big muscles power you. Balance between the two. I can't do it. No with channel lock, stroke yogi lock, stroke anything off the back foot. If I do back foot, which I would do if I wanted to knock it down, you see how much that puts it off the back foot, like the Lee Trevino burner wedge forward, right? You're literally going, and that is a low burner wedge. That thing's coming into a green, skipping 2 or 3 times, spinning back about 6 or 7 feet. Specialist shot, especially good on, like today, rock hard, linksy turf that you want to nip the ball off, keeping it low, maybe into the wind but with loads of spin, or stopping it downwind with loads of spin. So JH, well, there's no doubt you can do it, because we all watch you. And I can do it at the range, JH, but I cannot do it on the golf course. I rest my case. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Like I say, supporting this channel is all for charity. Helps Macmillan, Help the Heroes and Shelter UK. So, like, share, comment below. What did you think? Feedback is appreciated. And try it at the range yourself. Don't be scared to do all this stuff I'm talking about, because it's going to give you something that gives you a massive advantage. It's going to give you like natural feel. Something that people say, oh, you can't teach feel. Well, you can't teach it, but you can hone it and learn it and enhance your feel to a level that's going to improve your game.